through our deal with Netflix, really creating projects that we felt were compelling. No, it's starting in real time. We are starting right after we left off.
Oh, really?
Halloween costumes to just have one fun night on the town before it was out in the world that we were a couple.
Okay, hold on, because this isn't your average celebrity mess. Paris Fashion Week, the biggest fashion event on the planet, and Meghan Markle just crashes it. No invite, no heads up, just a text message and a flight to Paris. Within hours, the whole industry's buzzing. But here's the thing, nobody's talking about the clothes. What she did that night didn't just make headlines, it basically ended any chance she had left in fashion. So how does someone go from A-list celebrity to Fashion Week's cautionary tale? And what went down during that show that had even her own team freaking out? Stay with me, because once you see how this all fell apart, you'll get why the fashion world's done with her. Real quick before we dive in, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell, because this gets so much messier than you'd think. Drop a like if you're here for the drama.
One minute you think it's a comedy, next minute it's an emotional journey, then it's a...
All right, let's get into it. Here's the thing about Paris Fashion Week. It's not just some event you can roll up to. We're talking months of planning, every single detail locked down to the second. Designers rehearse their shows like it's opening night on Broadway. The lighting's been tested 100 times. The music's timed perfectly to match every single step on that runway. The seating chart's been rewritten more times than anyone wants to admit. Models have been fitted and refitted. Makeup artists have their looks planned weeks in advance, and the guest list?
No wonder Christine Scott ignored Meghan's attempts to approach her, but shows great respect for Queen Elizabeth. Recently, Meghan made her...
That's been finalized for ages. This isn't a party where you can just add one more chair. It's a carefully orchestrated performance where everyone knows their role and there's zero room for surprises. And then Meghan Markle decides she's going. No build-up, no coordination with the brand, no working through proper channels. She just reaches out directly and essentially says she'd love to show up. Can you imagine? According to insiders who were in those conversations, the creative director gets this message and he's caught in this incredibly weird spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Buckingham Palace has kept a damning report sealed. One that investigates Meghan's...
On one hand, he's completely blindsided. His show's already planned down to the last detail. Seats are assigned, the flow's locked in, everything's ready to go. This is his moment, his collection, his vision about to be unveiled to the world. On the other hand, come on, it's Meghan Markle. Whether people love her or absolutely can't stand her, she gets clicks. She gets headlines, she gets cameras pointed in whatever direction she's standing. That's just facts. For a brand trying to make noise in an oversaturated market, that kind of attention is gold.
She's in Paris. She's actually maybe doesn't realize she's approaching the tunnel where Diana died. And then she shows herself putting...
So he's sitting there thinking, do I stick to my original plan or do I take this gamble? He says yes. Free publicity, right? Global attention without spending a single dime on traditional PR. Sounds like a win, except here's what nobody thought about in that moment. When Meghan shows up, she doesn't just bring herself. She brings the entire circus with her. Suddenly, the show isn't about the collection anymore. It's not about the craftsmanship or the artistic vision or any of the things the designer spent months perfecting.
Meghan Markle, the Duchess who danced away from duty, has parachuted back into Europe. Not with a flurry.
It's about her. Where's she sitting? What's she wearing? Who's she with? Is she smiling? The cameras that should be laser focused on the runway, capturing every detail of the designs, are now hunting for reaction shots of her face. Entertainment reporters who normally wouldn't even cover this particular show are suddenly there because she's there. And look, fashion people notice this stuff. They're incredibly protective of their industry, their events, their moments. They know when someone's genuinely respecting the process, showing up because they love the craft and want to support the designer.
Behind the scenes, however, it wasn't quiet at all.
A source close to Archewell claimed that Harry was furious when he found out about the
And they definitely know when someone's just using their event as a convenient backdrop for their own PR strategy. This wasn't a collaboration between creative minds. This wasn't a genuine partnership built on mutual respect. This was someone inserting themselves into a moment that wasn't theirs and flipping the entire narrative to make it all about them. But hey, at this point, the show hasn't even started yet. Meghan's in her seat, the lights are still up, people are still getting settled, the chaos is still somewhat manageable, still contained to whispers and side eyes. The real disaster?
When Meghan swept through those glass doors, draped in a Balenciaga coat and oversized shades, the paparazzi flashes made it look
The moment that would define this entire night and cement her reputation in fashion, that's coming once the lights go down and the models start walking. So the lights dim, music starts, and the show's finally underway. Everyone's locked in, watching the models glide down that runway. Fashion shows have this unspoken code, right? You watch respectfully, you appreciate the work, you save your reactions for after. It's not a concert, it's more like watching a ballet. There's a reverence to it. And then it happens. One of the models stumbles, not a dramatic fall, just a slight misstep on the runway.
News breaking that Meghan Markle, her Balenciaga's own designer, invited herself, reached out to him.
Heels are sky high, the runway can be slick, it happens. The room immediately goes silent. That professional, respectful silence where everyone's pretending they didn't see it because that's the classy thing to do. You don't draw attention to someone's mistake, that's fashion etiquette 101. But Meghan, she laughs, out loud, not a tiny giggle that maybe one person next to you might hear. We're talking an audible laugh that cuts through the silence like a knife. People heard it, cameras caught it, and the reaction around her, absolutely stone cold. Her companion, Marcus Anderson.
Did Meghan Markle just turn Paris Fashion Week into her own royal reality show? Oh, absolutely.
The guy sitting right next to her who's supposedly helping manage her image, his face doesn't move. He's not amused, he's not smiling, he looks like he just watched a car crash happen in slow motion. Everyone else in that section, same thing. Frozen, professional, but Meghan's sitting there completely oblivious to the fact that she just broke a massive taboo in fashion. You don't mock the talent, you don't laugh when someone's vulnerable. You especially don't do it when every camera in the room can capture it and replay it a million times online. Here's what makes this so damaging.
Was wafting through the most romantic city on earth, a vision in paper white, lending her regal presence of...
It wasn't just that she laughed, it's what that laugh revealed. She doesn't understand the culture she's trying to break into. She's treating this high fashion moment like it's entertainment. For her, like she's watching a blooper reel instead of a professional presentation that people poured their hearts into. Fashion insiders notice everything. They saw that moment and immediately understood what they were dealing with. This wasn't someone who genuinely appreciates their world. This was someone using their event as a prop, as a photo op, as a way to stay relevant.
OMG, this Meghan Markle Paris trip, it just got messy. Everybody saw the glammed up photos.
Even tourists who stumble into these shows usually have enough sense to stay quiet and respectful. Marcus Anderson reportedly was furious afterward. This was supposed to be a carefully managed appearance, a way to position her as sophisticated and fashion forward. Instead, she'd just shown the entire industry exactly who she is. Someone who doesn't do the homework, doesn't understand the room, and doesn't seem to care that she's offending the very people she's trying to impress. That single laugh did more damage than any bad review could, because it wasn't about the clothes anymore, it was about her character.
Listen, we need to talk about what is really happening with Meghan Markle right now, because the facade is cracking wide open, and honey, it is not pretty.
Her judgment, her complete misunderstanding of the world she was stepping into. And in an industry built on image and perception, that's everything. The video clips started circulating almost immediately, and what was supposed to be a triumphant return to relevance was quickly turning into something else entirely. So who's the mastermind behind this whole Paris situation? Meet Marcus Anderson. He's not a household name, but in Meghan's world, he's the guy pulling strings behind the scenes. Think of him as her strategist, her connector.
It was a brutal blow, not just professionally, but emotionally. Meghan had built her comeback strategy around fashion.
The person who's supposed to make these big moves look effortless and intentional. Word is, this entire Paris appearance was his idea. He'd been working on repositioning her image for months. Hollywood wasn't working out the way they'd hoped. Projects weren't landing, deals weren't materializing, and the buzz around her name was fading fast. So Marcus pitched a pivot. Fashion. High fashion, specifically. Paris Fashion Week, the ultimate stamp of sophistication and global relevance. He sold it as her big reinvention moment. Forget the actress thing, forget the Hollywood hustle.
You think you've heard every Meghan Markle story there is, right? The royal exit, the Netflix deal, the podcast that disappeared. But this one
Position her as a fashion insider, someone who belongs in those exclusive front rows alongside editors and style icons. Get her face in the right magazines, at the right events, with the right people. It's a solid strategy on paper, right? Fashion's always been kinder to celebrities looking for a second act. So Marcus handles everything. He books the accommodations, arranges the transportation, coordinates the logistics. He reaches out to the designer's team, makes the pitch that she'd love to attend. He's building this narrative of a graceful, elegant woman stepping into a new chapter.
In fact, just get the whole pot, because I am beside myself. I had to turn this camera.
Someone who commands attention without demanding it. Someone the fashion world would want to embrace. Except there's one massive problem he can't control. Her. All the planning in the world doesn't matter if the person you're trying to rebrand can't read the room. Marcus needed her to show up, look stunning, be respectful, and let the visuals do the talking. Sit elegantly, watch appreciatively, maybe exchange a few polite words with the right people. That's it. That's the whole job. The bare minimum for someone trying to break into a new industry. And then she laughs at a model's stumble.
Meghan Markle wanted a bag. Not just any bag, though. Meghan allegedly asked Hermes, yes, that Hermes, for a custom one-of-one.
Sources say Marcus was livid, not just annoyed, genuinely furious. He'd spent months setting this up, coaching her on how these events work, trying to manufacture this polished image. And in one moment, one thoughtless reaction, she'd exposed exactly what the fashion world suspected, that she doesn't actually respect their craft, that she's just there for the photo op, for the headline, for the relevance boost. You can plan every detail of an appearance, but you can't script someone's instincts. And her instincts told her to laugh when someone stumbled, to treat a professional show like casual entertainment.
Let's rewind to the moment Meghan Markle decided Paris Fashion Week needed her presence. This wasn't a planned appearance. This wasn't months of...
That's not something you can spin or fix or explain away. That's character showing through, and it destroyed months of careful image work in seconds. Marcus had gambled that he could rebrand her as fashion-forward and sophisticated. Instead, he just showcased to an entire industry that no amount of styling or strategy can fix a fundamental lack of awareness. The architect of this plan watched it collapse in real time, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. So, a few days go by, the fashion show's over, people are still talking about the laugh. And then the creative director sits down for an interview.
Listen, let me tell you what really went down in Paris. This was supposed to be Meghan Markle's big comeback moment.
He's relaxed, casual, answering questions about the collection and the show. Everything seems pretty standard until the interviewer brings up Meghan's attendance. And that's when he drops it. He explains very matter-of-factly that they'd barely communicated before the event. Just a few text messages back and forth. No long phone calls, no meetings to discuss vision or aesthetics, no real relationship at all. She'd reached out saying she'd love to come, and he figured, why not? It'd generate buzz. That's literally it, the whole story. Now here's why this matters.
Suites, all quietly tucked into philanthropic representation. A clever label if true, but one that would have...
Up until this interview, the narrative floating around was that this was some kind of collaboration, that there was a genuine connection between Meghan and the brand, that they'd been working together, that this was a mutual celebration of creativity or whatever. She'd positioned it like she belonged there, like she was invited because of some artistic alignment. Turns out, nope, it was a publicity trade. He got headlines, she got a seat, simple transaction, no deeper meaning, no creative partnership, no friendship developing behind the scenes, just two parties using each other for exposure.
The city of lights, love, and, apparently, leaked hotel bills. Oh yes,
what was meant to be Meghan.
But wait, it gets better. The interviewer asks about the outfit she wore, that stunning white ensemble everyone was obsessing over online. And the designer, still completely casual about this whole thing, mentions that the look wasn't even created for her. It had originally been made for another celebrity, someone with actual established fashion credibility. That person said no, declined the piece for whatever reason. So when Meghan needed something to wear, they pulled it out and let her have it. She was wearing someone else's rejected outfit. Think about that for a second. This was supposed to be her grand entrance into the fashion elite.
A lot of royal watchers were surprised, to say the least, to see Meghan Markle pop up at the Balenciaga fashion show. Now, Rebecca, this
Her moment to prove she belongs in this world. And she's dressed in literal leftovers. The backup plan, the, well, someone's gotta wear it option. The designer didn't say this to be cruel or throw shade. He was just being honest about how the whole thing came together. But that honesty, it completely dismantled the entire carefully constructed image Marcus had been trying to build. There was no special treatment happening here, no recognition of her as someone important to the fashion world. She was just convenient content, a name that would get clicks. And look, the fashion industry talks. Designers, editors, stylists, they all know each other. They share information.
How? How does Meghan not know to not laugh out loud when you're watching a fashion show? Like, obviously, somebody...
So when this interview came out, when the creative director basically confirmed that Meghan had invited herself and was given a reject dress, it spread through the industry like wildfire. All those other brands that might have been considering working with her, they saw this and understood exactly what kind of arrangement they'd be getting into. She'd sold this Paris moment as proof she's a fashion insider. The designer's interview revealed she's just a celebrity desperate for relevance, willing to take whatever scraps she can get. That's not the foundation for a fashion career.
It was supposed to be the fashion comeback of the year. Paris, Dior headquarters, private fitting day for global icons and brand ambassadors.
That's a red flag wrapped in white fabric. All right, so we've got the laugh, we've got the rejected dress, we've got the designer admitting she basically invited herself. But here's where things get really interesting. Let's talk about money. Paris isn't cheap. We're talking luxury accommodations at some of the city's finest hotels, private transportation, gliding through the streets, 5-star treatment everywhere she went. Someone had to pay for all of that, right? So the question everyone started asking was, who footed the bill? Turns out it wasn't Meghan.
Behind those smiles and designer gowns, the question started circling, who actually paid for all of this? And that
sources from the hotel where she stayed started quietly confirming something pretty wild. Every invoice, every charge, every expense from her Paris trip was billed directly to the fashion house. The hotel rooms, the transportation, the whole VIP treatment package, all of it went on the brand's tab, not hers. Now think about the image she was trying to project. Independent woman, fashion insider, someone who shows up to these events because she's earned her place there. Someone who belongs in that world on her own merit. That's the narrative Marcus was building, right?
Meghan Markle wanted a bag. Not just any bag, though. Meghan allegedly asked Hermes, yes, that Hermes, for a custom
was actually fully funded by someone else. For the brand, it showed they'd invested real money into someone who then laughed at their show and became the story instead of the collection. Nobody won here. The brand got headlines, sure, but not the kind they wanted. And Meghan got exposure, but it revealed she can't afford to play in this world without someone else bankrolling it. The worst part? She'd been acting like she was doing them a favor by showing up. Like her presence was this gift to the fashion house.
Probably feeling confident, maybe a little too comfortable. And that's when he said something that completely contradicted the story Meghan's team had been pushing.
But the receipts told a different story. She needed them way more than they needed her. And in an industry that's all about perception and power dynamics, that's devastating. When the financial arrangement came to light, it basically confirmed what fashion insiders had suspected all along. She's not a player in this world. She's just someone desperately trying to buy her way into relevance, one sponsored appearance at a time. So all of this is happening, the laugh, the designer's interview, the financial leaks, and then the internet gets involved.
You think you've heard every Meghan Markle story there is, right? The royal exit, the Netflix deal, the podcast that disappeared.
Oh boy. Within hours of the show, clips started popping up everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. That moment when she laughed, people found every angle. Close-ups on her face, zoomed shots of Marcus Anderson's stone-cold reaction next to her, side-by-side comparisons of her laughing while everyone else sat frozen. The internet does not miss details. One clip went absolutely viral, racked up millions of views in like a day. Just her laugh on loop with text overlay breaking down everything wrong with the moment. The comments section was brutal.
The paper trail shows a pattern of rejection that completely destroys the narrative she's been selling. This wasn't a beloved...
Thousands of people pointing out how tone-deaf it looked, how disrespectful, how out of place she seemed. But here's what really amplified everything. Fashion insiders started weighing in. Not with long statements, just little cryptic posts that said everything without saying anything directly. One well-known stylist posted a single emoji under a clip, just a dollar sign. Everyone in the industry knew exactly what that meant. Bought, not invited. Paid for, not respected. Another comment that went massively viral just said,
"We'll let you sit here but don't get comfortable." And she wasn't. You could see it. The fit was off, like she'd been squeezed into someone else's spot.
She didn't attend Paris Fashion Week, she hijacked it. Boom, 200,000 likes. That one sentence captured exactly how the fashion world felt. She'd taken an event that wasn't about her and made it all about her in the worst possible way. Then people started connecting all the dots. The self-invitation, the rejected dress, the brand paying for everything, that laugh. Video essays popped up analyzing every piece. Commentary channels had a field day. How to Destroy Your Fashion Career in One Night became an actual video title that got millions of views. And through all of this chaos, you know who was completely silent?
But when it came time to tell her story, who did she and Harry sit down with? CBS, the same American network that once paid
her talent agency. William Morris Endeavor, one of the biggest agencies in Hollywood, they posted absolutely nothing. No photos from the event, no congratulations, no our client killing it at Paris Fashion Week content, radio silence. That's telling. Agencies live for this stuff. They hype every single achievement their clients have, celebrate every appearance. It's literally part of their job. When they don't post, when they act like an event didn't even happen, that's a message. They're quietly distancing themselves, letting everyone know they're not endorsing this disaster.
They started planting seeds, making connections, reaching out to people who could make this Paris appearance happen, and Meghan, desperate for any kind of win.
People in the industry noticed that silence immediately. It confirmed what the viral clips were already saying. This wasn't a successful appearance. This was a cautionary tale unfolding in real time, and even her own representation wanted no part of it. The internet had turned her Paris moment into a masterclass on what not to do. And unlike a bad review that fades, this stuff lives forever online. That's the legacy of her Paris Fashion Week appearance. So here's where it gets really rough for her. Remember, the whole point of this Paris trip was to break into fashion.
Put this in perspective. When an agency represents someone, especially someone they're actively trying to build up, they capitalize on every...
to position herself as someone the industry would want to work with. That was Marcus's entire strategy. Get her in the door, make connections, open up opportunities for collaborations and partnerships down the line. Yeah, that's not what happened. Word started getting around that before Paris, there'd actually been some quiet conversations happening. Whispers about potential collaboration deals, maybe an informal ambassador role with certain brands. Nothing concrete, nothing signed, but talks were happening. Fashion houses exploring whether she could be a good fit for their image, whether having her represent them.
Traveling. He's stuck between protecting Meghan and protecting his own reputation. Because when those hotel bills started circulating, when people
would be worth it. After Paris, those conversations just disappeared, vanished overnight. Sources say the talks got dropped so fast it was like they never existed in the first place. Brands that had been considering working with her suddenly weren't returning calls. Opportunities that seemed promising just evaporated. And look, the fashion industry's pretty small at the top. Everyone talks to everyone. So when one brand sees what happened at that show, when they see the laugh and the backlash and the viral disaster, they're thinking, do we really want to associate ourselves with this?
Let's rewind to the moment Meghan Markle decided Paris Fashion Week needed her presence. This wasn't a planned appearance. This wasn't months of...
Is this the kind of attention we want for our label? The answer was a hard no across the board. But it wasn't just about lost deals. It was about how quickly the industry closed ranks against her. Fashion people are protective of their world. They've built this culture, these unspoken rules, this whole system of respect and understanding. And she'd shown up and violated pretty much all of it in one night. Self-invitation, disrespecting the talent, treating the show like it was about her. That's not how you earn a place in fashion.
I never want to hear "it's just a dress" ever again. In the first part of Harry and Meghan's Netflix documentary, the Duchess of...
That's how you get blacklisted. This whole Paris situation became a case study in what not to do. Insiders started using it as an example in conversations about celebrity collaborations gone wrong. Remember what happened with Meghan at Paris Fashion Week? Became shorthand for when someone doesn't understand the culture they're trying to enter. The brutal part is how completely it backfired. Marcus had positioned this as her entry into a new world, a fresh start, proof she could thrive outside of Hollywood. Instead, it proved the opposite.
She's either rehearsed this answer or it's coming from the heart. Personally, I think it's rehearsed.
And what you're looking for.
It showed she can't read a room, can't respect an industry's culture, can't handle herself at high-level events without creating drama. Fashion rewards people who understand the game, who show up with humility, who respect the craft, who put in the work to earn their spot. She tried to skip all of that to just insert herself and demand relevance. And the fashion world responded by slamming the door in her face. What should have been her big reinvention moment became a permanent mark against her reputation. Every brand that might have considered working with her now had a perfect reason to pass.
Big complaint on social media, nobody stands up to them. And the problem is that nobody ever gets canceled for being...
Why risk it? Why deal with the potential mess when there are 1,000 other celebrities who actually understand how to behave? She'd wanted to be a fashion insider. Instead, she became fashion's cautionary tale. So let's step back and look at what actually happened here. Meghan went to Paris thinking she was about to reinvent herself. This was supposed to be her moment, proof she can exist in sophisticated circles and command respect. Instead, she walked into one of the biggest fashion events of the year and exposed every weakness in her public image. The self-invitation showed desperation.
Hold on to your seats, because what you're about to hear is a raw, unfiltered moment that shook the royal...
The laugh showed lack of awareness. The rejected dress showed she wasn't actually wanted. The financial arrangement showed she couldn't afford to play in that world on her own. And the industry's response showed that no PR strategy can fix fundamental character issues. Marcus Anderson had gambled everything on this rebrand. Fashion deals, brand partnerships, ambassador roles could have been worth millions. But you can't build a fashion career on borrowed dresses and sponsored hotel rooms. You definitely...
You think you've heard every Meghan Markle story there is. But what if I told you this one changes everything?
Can't build one after laughing at a model's mistake while the entire industry watches. The really damaging part is how permanent this is. In Hollywood, bad press can fade. But fashion has a long memory. The people at the top have been there for decades. They remember everything. And they've now filed Meghan away in the don't work with category. Think about how quickly it all fell apart. She was there for what, a few hours? One show, one laugh, and that was it. All the planning, all the strategy Marcus had been building, gone. Because you can't manufacture authenticity.
Contradiction is so glaring that legal experts are already questioning whether this could impact his case. But beyond the legal nightmare,
you can't fake respect for a culture you don't actually understand. And here's what makes this so ironic. She wanted independence, wanted to prove she could succeed on her own terms. But Paris showed the exact opposite. She needed the brand to pay her way. She needed Marcus to set everything up. She needed a rejected dress because she couldn't secure something custom. Every single piece screamed dependence, not independence. The fashion world moved on pretty quickly after Paris, but for Meghan, that night became a defining moment.
Listen, let me tell you what really went down in Paris. This was supposed to be Meghan Markle's big comeback moment. her you can't.
Not in the way she'd hoped, but in the way everyone feared. It confirmed she's someone who doesn't understand the room she's trying to enter, who brings chaos instead of class. Paris was supposed to open doors. Instead, it closed them all. And the worst part? She probably still doesn't fully understand why. So there you have it. What was supposed to be Meghan's big comeback moment turned into a complete disaster. One night in Paris, one laugh, and the entire fashion world decided they wanted nothing to do with her. The bills exposed she was sponsored, not independent.
News breaking that Meghan Markle, her Balenciaga's own designer, invited herself.
The designer's interview exposed she invited herself. That laugh exposed she doesn't understand the culture she was trying to break into. And the silence from everyone around her exposed that she's out there on her own. Here's the thing about fashion. It's not just about showing up and looking good. It's about understanding the unspoken rules, respecting the craft, and proving you belong there through your actions, not just your presence. Meghan thought she could skip all that and just insert herself into the scene, and the industry responded by shutting her out completely.
These supermodels of today make it look effortless, and that's why your eyes are glued to them and you're just admiring their beautiful form and their beautiful fashion, and you're like, oh,
The irony is brutal. She wanted to prove she's relevant, sophisticated, and independent. Instead, she proved she's desperate, tone-deaf, and completely reliant on others to bankroll her lifestyle. Marcus tried to save her image, and she destroyed it in seconds. The fashion house paid her way, and she made them regret it. Every single move backfired. Now, if you're sitting here thinking this story's wild, you're not alone. Drop a comment below and let me know, do you think she can ever recover from this? Or is the fashion world done with her for good? I'm curious what you think. And if you love this kind of celebrity drama and industry insider stories, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because, trust me, there's always more mess to uncover. Go ahead and drop a like on this video too. It helps more than you know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.